Hi, this is Professor Lucien, and this is the weekly review for Safety 701 Research Methods. Every week, I'll provide about a 5-minute review video, kind of covering some of the things that happened over the previous weeks and a preview into what we're going to get into this week. So, as you all know, we got into the course textbook, making sure it looks okay. I did provide PDF chapters in case you didn't get the book yet. Hopefully everybody has it now. I really can't provide each chapter in PDF. That would be plagiarism. But I gave you the first 2 chapters just to buy the time. If you're having trouble finding the book, let me know. So, based on the discussion board, it looks like a lot of you realize that research is more involved and a much bigger commitment than what you're typically used to or what you thought it was. Because I know that some of you had commented that in society, we go, oh, research this, when all you're doing is really looking something up. And that's not research. Though some of you still kind of held to your guns to say and indicated that, well, I look things up and I solve problems at work and that's research. But it's really not. If you're just trying to get an answer to a question, that's not considered research unless what you're doing is you're actually pursuing the understanding of how a phenomenon occurs. And what that means is that you have 2 concepts that nobody really is for sure that they are either related or one causes the other, and you're going to study what we currently know about these things and how they might relate or how they might one cause the other. And then because there's no definitive evidence that exists, you're going to propose a study and conduct data collection and analysis to determine it. That's very different than what I had just said, where it's like, oh, let's figure out which machine guard is the correct one or what the proper personal protective equipment is for this particular situation. That's not research. That's just problem solving. That's all it is. Research is a much grander problem-solving approach. There's a lot more to it. I hope everybody understands that. We're going to start getting into the planning of it by doing literature review. And so I'm getting ahead of myself here, but to understand that the literature review it's a skill in itself. And so we're going to try to develop that skill this week. But then as we move into week 3, what I want you to do is start pursuing literature to begin to understand what is currently known about the topic you're interested in. So you don't have to have a question already, but it'd be great if you could start thinking of a topic. It'd be great if it's something you are passionate about, because that gives you more motivation, more saliency to it. But it's about you have to be able to establish this is what is currently known about the topic, leading up to this is a question that hasn't been asked or hasn't been fully answered. And so therefore, that's what you're going to pursue. And the work you put into getting to that point is really a majority of the work. I mean, you have to go back and verify a few things, but then you pretty much got it. And you can see it's got the other parts here. Please, please, please pay attention to these pitfalls. I will be here to help you. I'm not going to read through these because you read the book. Some of you are already attending to these issues, but as we go through the discussion board, through office hours, through discussions with me, I will help get you past these barriers. I guess that's the best I can say. Having a checklist is always helpful. The statement you write for your research is going to be too broad or non-specific enough. But you got to start somewhere. This is a continuous improvement. It's cyclic, right? So you start, trying to find out what we know about it. Oh, it's already been answered. Or, boy, I got to really narrow this to understand what it means. That's the process. And that's why not everybody does it. We tend to make assumptions in how we perceive the world. Shortcuts. Our brains do that. And research is meant to actually question, what we don't know. That's the continual pursuit of a researcher and a scientist. And always remember, though, this research proposal you're pursuing for this class, it's a brush stroke in a much larger portrait. You're not trying to paint a portrait. You're not trying to solve a world problem. You're just trying to understand a little bit more than what is currently known. I hope that helps you. So here is how everybody did this week. You can compare your own scores to what you see on the screen here. Congratulations to Trina. She is our winner of the week for the top discussion board participant. Poster. I put it on there. I guess that's a bad word. It's just not a descriptive of how well she did. So thank you, Trina. Congratulations. I'll bring up someone every week. I want you to be posting early and often. I think that's what I'd said in the intro video. So for this week, the average amount of time spent on the Canvas site was a little over 9.5 hours. The median was about 5.75 hours. That's quite a difference. You know, when the median and average are different, that means there's some more outliers in that particular set. Compared to last semester, the average was 8.3, so you're above them. Their median was 8.2 though. So in this semester, what this data tells me is that we had some people who did not spend even 4 hours. And so I've color-coded those students, and I'll be kind of tracking their performance and letting them know if they're starting to fall behind, that this is something they need to do. Let's look at the touches. The average for you all was 162. The median is 152. That's pretty close. Last semester, it was 135, which is lower than yours, and their median is 144, below yours. So you're doing better from a touch-wise perspective. And it may just maybe had more documents there, or maybe you guys are just more curious. Whatever it is. Activity is what I like to see. As far as the discussion, the average number of original posts was 3.1. The replies were 4.4. That's very good. If you can get 7 or 8, that gets you up to the 100%. The average was 95. That's excellent. Well within the A range. Median was 100. A lot of you scored that. The low was 75. And so one person, it looks like there may have been a person who just had one original and maybe no replies. Please get on there and participate. You can always make up these points later. As far as the weekly assignment, the average was 95. I'm sorry, I just should have compared this to before. It looks like you're doing better than, you're doing better than the previous semester. Weekly assignment, again, 95 was the average, 100 was the median. People were doing very well. I think it's just a few people didn't fully understand what it meant or the assignment was, and otherwise you guys did a fantastic job. Reflection is very high. Can't compare it to anything because we had quizzes before, but your scores are better than the quizzes. Again, I think there were a couple of people who were a little bit confused, but I think we should be all on the same page now. This has already gone too long, and I apologize. Again, my tips are if you post 1 to 2 originals and 2 to 3 replies, total of 4 posts, that's going to give you an 85. But if you do it all in one shot, so you showed up, I just posted 4 real simple things, you're going to get deducted for that. I want to see more quality, and some people got bonus points for lengthier quality posts. One post I want to talk about, and I was commenting a little bit about this, but I want to thank Nathan for bringing this up, that a lot of you seem very much against the research 30 credit option. This is completely your choice. I'm not going to force anybody to do anything. I just want you to understand what it means, and I think that's what Nathan was trying to get me to tell you. First, an MS degree does have an assumption of research understanding. In the case for this degree in the 36 credit option, it's pretty much this course. This course is going to give you, you're going to, what research is. You can use a library website effectively. You've become accustomed to using a citation management software, and that you could write a proposal, and that you've read things and you can kind of break it down. That's really the extent of it. To pursue a PhD, you would need to do the 30 credit option. There's really no other way around it. If you're not doing the 30 credit option, you can almost consider this master's degree a terminal master's, which is to say there's no plan to go any further with degrees. A lot of people are saying, I think I'd like to get a PhD, but I want to take the 36 credit shot. That doesn't fit. Doesn't really follow what to prepare you. Otherwise, you're basically going to be starting over if you pursue the PhD. You have to learn all this stuff versus having done it before. And it's going to be a more difficult path for you. I mean, you can still do it. It's just going to be a more difficult path. Although it's interesting now that there are some programs out there, I'm not going to name them, who now offer PhDs, and I know that they're crap because I know that some of the people who are in those programs didn't do any research in their master's, or they were actually pursuing a PhD at a well-respected institution, and then they moved to this new institution, and within a month they had their PhD, and now they're teaching there. Red flags everywhere. I don't think they're training people to research. I think they're just cranking out. I think it's a diploma mill for doctorate. I think it's too bad. I had heard that the person who's running the program isn't even in the U.S. They called it a European model for doctoral program. And the people who are in it right now, I think, are throwing their money away. That's my opinion. There's also certain universities that are diploma mills that are giving out Masters of Science degrees in safety. And it's not a real Masters of Science degree. It's a lot lesser. It's a lot less expensive than what you typically have. But again, it's not worth it. I don't want to like name names or anything like that, but I took the traditional route, and I know what that means. And so when I see these other routes, I know what they mean. Your pursuit of the 30 credit is based on your own, what you have for time, but the time is really based on you, how organized you are. And some of you said, I'm just not organized, I don't want to do it. I totally understand. The topic you choose and how well it's developed in this semester, and then what is your access to study subjects. That's always a big one. That's a big hang up. So I just got off the phone, or actually off of WebEx, with a student who she's going to be pursuing her 789 research project in the spring. She's doing a great job. I think she'll finish it early. She's a rare, well-organized person. She's really laser focused. I'm inviting her to come to our office hour on Thursday. Her name is Maggie, and she's phenomenal. I just spoke with a student last week, Siobhan. She's completing her independent study, developing, that's what she's using as an elective, developing her research proposal from her experience in 701, which I think was like a year ago. She wants to teach. So she's getting the true MS for that. And then I've got some other people I may bring into the mix who are in different phases of preparation. But again, you really need to understand, what is your career aspiration. If you want to teach, probably should see what you can do to try to get that 30 credit option. If you just want to practice, the 36 is completely fine. Just kind of realize, what you've done and what you want to do. Man, I've gone way over. Most of these won't be this long. I apologize. So this week we're going to get into literature review. What that is really about is attempting to narrow or refine your topic to a question by establishing what we currently know about it. This is when you begin the opportunity to jump down a rabbit hole, which I hope you guys do it. It's so fun. You start reading a paper and it's like it refers to these other papers, so you go find them, and then you read those and they take you to another one. And then a day later, you realize, wow, I just read like 20 papers and I got all this great information and ideas are just bouncing around my head. That's a great time to write, by the way. That when you get like 2 or 3, maybe 4 papers into the rabbit hole, what are you interested in? What are you following? Write a paragraph on it to yourself, an email to yourself. That's a really good way to track it, because you can get lost really quickly. So that's what this is all about, developing that skill set of using search engines. I prefer Web of Science. I like Web of Science. It's one of my favorites. Sometimes I just go into like a broad one. I can't remember their names right off the top of my head. It's this afternoon and my brain is kind of shutting down. But Naomi Shem, she's got a bunch of videos for this week, and she'll provide her input. And then also check out EndNote and Zotero. I know students tend to prefer Zotero. I used EndNote. I could switch though. I don't get any money from either place. Start learning to use those. They will make your job a million times easier than what Nathan and I used to do when we had a stack of papers and we'd lay them out. I still do that. It's so funny. I shouldn't do that anymore. But to each their own. So I believe that's everything. That's the last slide. I'm sorry I went so long. They'll never go this long again. Please try to attend the office hours. Again, 7 o'clock on Thursdays. This is Central Time. Or Sunday mornings at 8 a.m. Again, Central Time. They're going to be just an open format through Canvas. So you can just go in there and click on it on your calendar and boom, you're in. I don't think there's any reservations needed. On Sunday morning, we just chatted about I think everybody just kind of came in just to see what I was going to say. And I just kind of talked about things I had talked about during this session too. What my background is, what I think of what research is, and how it applies to degrees and things like that. That's really it. Email me if you have any questions. Otherwise, you guys are doing a great job. I just wanted to point that out.